Okay.
Hey, David.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna be recording the call, so tell me if I should start the broadcast. Okay.
I think we should be. Do we have anybody coming?
Yep. We actually have 8 attendees now.
All right. You might as well show. Might as well show that.
Okay. Let me start the broadcast then.
Hold on 1 second here. I just want to make sure that it is showing it. Let me see if I
Yep.
can do
I
this.
see your screen.
Okay. I just want to check one thing. Okay. Hold on. I want to try and bring this. There we go. And oh, come on. Bring it down. And so, all right, I guess that will do. This has got to be on top. Okay, there we go. Have you made me? I'm just.
Yep. You are already the presenter.
I'm the presenter. I need to also be the organizer too. That way I can see.
Okay. Hold on. That should do it.
There we go. Excellent.
Okay. Give me a countdown.
All right. One last thing here. I'm seeing where I can record. Where can I record?
It should be on the top of the GoToMeeting panel. It should say Start Record just below the play button.
Recording. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Start.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for your patience here for a moment there while we were getting our places in order and getting everything lined up. This is David Day, the Private Money Guy, and I'm here to share with you actually our super secret bonus concerning the promise that we made. One of the reasons you guys are here is because you were you bought our course, and we told you about this awesome thing that we were doing, which is that we're putting a course together, and the name of the course is Public Records for Profits, and it's your treasure vault for the best deals, the best buyers, and the money sources. So I'm very excited to bring this to you, and I hope that you guys get a lot out of this, because this is not just a little piecemeal of information. This is everything that I use on an ongoing basis in my own personal business. This is what I do. This is how I make my money, not just in the private wholesaling side, but also in the business side, where I make money and I do wholesaling, retailing, buy and hold, renting, so on and so forth. I've done close to 1,000 deals over the years, and over 15 years actually. And what I'm going to be sharing is the actual tools and the keys that I use to do all the deals that I do with very little competition and with the maximize of profits. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do the first things first here. Let me see if I've got everything going here. Excellent. First things first. As I said, welcome to the super secret bonus that was promised. During the next 6 weeks, you're going to be able to hear these exclusive recordings that are being taped for the creation of this new course. And for those of you that have seen my information before, and again, it's because you bought the Private Money Wholesaler program and got involved with that, and as a result, you get all of the additional pieces of information way before the public even gets them. So you're going to have an unfair advantage, I like to say. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's just put it that way. But of course, and so you know, we will be recording these modules for the new program. However, we are here to support you in your private money wholesaling business. So if you have any questions or concerns about the private money side, please feel free to send in any questions at the end of the recording. I'll try and address each one before we close the show. And you know, if I do run over, I'll contact you personally to go over your question and to go over your business. I see there's a hand raised. If you want to go ahead and type in your question, I will be more than happy to address it at the least by the end of the presentation. And if it is a question for everybody, I'll be more than happy to address it for everyone. If it's for you personally, then like I said, I would be happy to actually contact you personally if you want to share that information in your question box. So with that being said, everyone, drum roll please. Bum, 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 bum. Here we go. Welcome to the Public Records for Profits program. Everyone, this is really something that I've been excited about, because this is what I really, really wanted to share. Of course, you know, the private money program, I'm known as a private money guy, and we'll be addressing that in a minute. But this is my passion, public records, and making a huge profit off of these things. Now, it may sound boring, but I guarantee you, you will not be bored cashing those checks. Okay, so thank you for joining us in one of the most powerful courses you have ever invested in. This really is going to be the best money that you have ever spent in your education. This is a tool that every single real estate investor needs to master. You may not realize it, but every single transaction that has to do with real estate, well, actually, there's so much more that's in regards to public records that you can utilize it, from tracking a seller that nobody else can find, but using the digital footprints that they leave in public records nobody else can get. Or if it's in regards to utilizing it for finding specific types of properties, or in finding the best deals, and we'll go over that in the next little bit. But this is a tool every real estate investor needs to master, and unfortunately most don't. So since you're part of that 1% that is going to master this, you are going to have an unfair advantage over the marketplace. You will get the best deals consistently. You'll get the best buyers consistently. You'll even get all the money that you need to put the whole deal together. You know, that's really the way this system works. It is a resource for finding the best deals, the best buyers list, and all the money you need to put the deals together. In other words, this is a complete business in a box. I use and this is not going to be just a portion that you're going to be learning. This is literally a dozen courses in one, because this is the emphasis of all 15 years plus that I have been investing. And this is putting into your hands every bit of knowledge that I have. If you've heard any of my information before, you know that I don't hold back information in order to upsell or anything like that. I want you to succeed. So you will get all the information that I've got to give in this matter. And you know what? I'm learning more every day. And so as we continue, you'll see new things. I guarantee you, you've never seen some of the things that we're going to be talking about ever. Ever, ever, ever. So that being said, let's go ahead and move on. Now, many of you may know me as the private money guy, and absolutely, that is the case. You know, I have a very bold statement that most people that know me have heard, and that is, you can put me in any area of the country, and within 7 business days, I'll have found more than enough money to do any deal I want to. And I have absolutely been put to task on this, and I have found, and I've come through on every single time. I've found money in Florida, in New York, in California, in Texas, in Hawaii, in all 50 states. I've been able to do this, including Alaska. I actually worked with an investor in Alaska, and we found him all the money he needed. I don't know what he was going to buy, maybe igloos or something like that, but in the end, we were able to do that. And so that's how many people know me, as the private money guy. Long before that, long before I was a private money guy, I was known as the master deal finder. I was getting deals even during the boom, and we'll be talking about that in just a second. But even during the boom, I was getting deals at 30, 40, 50 cents on the dollar when everybody else was happy at 70 and 80 cents on the dollar. So really, that was an incredible part of what brought me into the spectrum where I am today. I should have been known as the public records guy, because in the end, all those aspects, where I got my deals from, why I could get them with no competition, all came and were based out of my learning at the time and coming to understand the basis of public records. And utilizing those tools, I was able to make between $60,000 and $100,000 per month in profit, doing deals, buying, selling, wholesaling, retailing, buy and holding. On average, I was making between $60,000 to $100,000 a month. Now, many people can hardly fathom making that in a year, but this was a monthly income, and it was all as a result of putting these deals together. Here's a sample of some of those deals, just to give you an example of how that works. And this, by the way, is straight from the property assessor's site, so that you can actually see the sales history. You can see my name, or if it was in a trust or something like that. This is an example of one of those deals, and we'll be going over the exact process on how I did this. But you'll see me back in 2004, which was definitely during the boom, picking up a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home. Now, this was a brick home in Lakeland, Florida, in the middle of the boom, and I picked it up for $15,000. Now, what made it even better was when I bought the property, I was able to find the private money, and I used private money and actually borrowed $45,000. This was a well over $100,000 house, and I got it for 15 cents on the dollar, or below 15 cents on the dollar. I put it into a trust, as you can see, and borrowed $45,000, which the lender had no problem doing. So the overage was money that went into my pocket, tax-free. And after renting it for a while, I went ahead and I sold it in 2006 for $72,000. That's not a bad day's work, and that was a wholesale deal to that buyer. So, and that's one of the things you'll see. I did a lot of wholesaling, and it's not because I couldn't sell them retail, because we have systems to find the retail buyers as well. But I was using, I preferred getting in and out and just moving on to the next deal. I guess I had a short attention span, or I still do to this day. But I would go ahead and I'd want to sell it for a quick profit, and this was after I'd rented it for a while, so I went ahead and I sold it for a wholesale price at $72,000. But that's still not a bad day's work in getting paid twice. I got paid for buying the property because I got it at such a low deal, and I ended up borrowing $45,000 on it. So that's right around $30,000 in my pocket, tax-free. But then also selling it down the road for the $72,000. That is what made that particular deal a really good one. And I found that deal entirely through public records. And I did a short sale on this deal, which we'll be going through, where literally there was a 75, 79, somewhere around there, in the 70s, lien on this property that I was able to reduce to $4,000. Now that's a short sale, and we'll be addressing exactly how that works in just a little bit. Here's another deal that was done. This was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath historic home in Lakeland, Central Florida again, and this was in 2004. I picked it up for $25,000. Now, within the same, you can see in the same month, it was actually the next day, and this was not putting it under contract the next day. This was me selling it, closing escrow, and walking away with a check the next day for $62,000. So I picked it up for $25,000, sold it for $62,000. They put about $30,000 into repairs on the property, and they did an agreement for deed within 90 days for $169,000. Apparently, they ended up going ahead and reselling it again, which more power to them, for $138,000 in 2006. But the point is, from $25,000 to well over $100,000, they got a heck of a deal, but I got an incredible deal. People thought I did an incredible job negotiating. But the truth of the matter is that property I paid full price on. The people who I bought it from had, I asked them the classic question, which is, hey, if I paid cash and closed quickly, what would your bottom dollar be? And their answer was, well, I don't know if I could sell it for any less than $25,000. Now, knowing the property, seeing the property, knowing that it was a slam dunk deal, I said, you know what? Sold. I could have probably knocked them down to $15,000 or $20,000, but you've heard that old saying, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. I felt this was a great deal for me, so I left it at that. But I paid full price. Why was that? Because they had bought it well over 30 years ago for $5,000. And so in their mind, they were beating me up. They'd gotten it for $5,000. They were making 4 or 5 times as much as they bought it for themselves. And so they got a great deal. They made a great profit. I got a great deal. And people think that's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. But the truth is that I designed it that way. And those once-in-a-lifetime deals come to me every week. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works. Here's another deal. This was an 11-unit apartment complex in Lake Wales, Florida. I picked it up, as you can see, for $115,000 in a land trust right there, for $115,000, and sold it the same day for $245,000. That's well over a $100,000 profit in a one-day process. Again, people thought I did an incredible job negotiating. Truth of the matter is, this is the entire negotiation that I did. Hey, if I pay cash and close quickly, what's your bottom dollar? And that was it. We were done. We put the contract together. Again, why were they willing to do it? As you can see, back in '84, they had bought it for $50,000. 50 grand. So in their mind, they were doubling their money and then some. And for me, it was a great deal. As you can see, it was a really, really great deal. And that was in 2007 at the height of the boom. So this gives you just another example. Here's another one right here. This is a 10-unit apartment complex. As you can see, in 2004, I bought it for $30,000. Now, I bought it for 30 grand, and I sold it within 3 months, and actually I had it sold within 30 days. But they needed a couple of months lining up their funds for the rehab and such, which it didn't bother me. So I sold it for $125,000. That's almost a $100,000 profit. That's not a bad day's work. And the last appraisal that I had seen on that particular property was in 2008, and the appraisal was $650,000. Now, as you can see, a lot has happened since then. There was the property had gone back to the bank, and it's gone. But even in this market, it sold for $125,000. That's holding power. That shows that it was a great deal during the boom, a phenomenal deal during the boom, to be honest. And by the way, in regards to this, there was a short sale involved as well, where we took a $300,000 lien and reduced it to $1,000. Now that is one heck of a short sale, wouldn't you say? And we will be going over exactly how we can do that and bring these deals together by design. Okay, so, you know, we're talking about deals during the boom, but can they be done now? Absolutely. This is a 215-lot mobile home park we just did last year, and we picked it up for $750,000. That's $3,500 a lot. Maybe a couple hundred over that, but that's still close enough. $3,500 a lot. We picked up a 215-lot mobile home park. Now, this was one we weren't just wholesaling real quick, even though now we are in the process of selling it, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But we picked it up for $750,000, and that was at $3,500 a lot. But even better, the seller carried back $650,000 of that $750 grand in a second, with no payments and no interest for a full year. So literally with $100,000, which, if you understand what that says right there, the seller carried back $650,000 of the $750,000, but in a second position. So he was willing to subordinate his position into second place so I could go to a private lender and get that $100,000. So literally zero out of pocket. In fact, we got cash back at closing, which we were able to do some rehabs and such out of. But with zero out of pocket, and for the full year, this property we controlled this 215-lot mobile home park for $100,000 because there's no payments and no interest for the full year. We're currently in the process of selling the property and negotiating the property with a buyer for 1.4. That is a phenomenal deal. And that's again, these once-in-a-lifetime deals. And this is in this market here. The reason I showed you those 4 markets was, hey, if it could be done in the time when these guys were, when most guys were happy at 70, 65, 75, 80 cents on the dollar, I was getting them in at 30 and 40 and 50 cents on the dollar. In fact, that's why I was able to wholesale such great deals. And people, many of the wholesalers that were selling properties were selling my list because they could put money on top of it. There was such a great spread. Well, if that could be done during the boom, how much better are the deals now in this market? And this is just one example. This right here is a deal that we just did last year. Okay, this is so new that I don't have the detail. You know, I couldn't pull up the public records on it. This was actually done last week. 10-unit mobile home park that we picked up for $40,000 and sold within 30 days for $79,000. Not a bad day's work, wouldn't you say? Like I said, this was last week. I don't even have the ability of putting the public records on because the property assessor hasn't changed it over yet. But the point is that in this market, the deals are just as good, if not better. You have the added benefit, and 90% of the deals we'll be talking about are not listed, are not MLS deals. They're not realtor-type deals. And so on top of the benefit of having no competition, you're also dealing with a buyer's market, and they know that. And we'll talk about how that works into multiple levels of discount for you and terms. Okay, so this is another deal. From $40,000 to $79,000, almost $40,000 profit in under 30 days. I even did a $3,000 deal. Now this $3,000 that was done in the last couple of, the last few days actually. Now $3,000 doesn't sound like a lot, and it doesn't sound all that exciting. But when you understand that from start to finish, it took me 10 minutes to put the deal together from the sell side and the buy side, entirely finished within 10 minutes, making 2 phone calls. That's literally how long it took. And if you take $3,000 every 10 minutes, that's over $18,000 an hour. Now, how many people would like to have a job making $18,000 an hour? Yeah, exactly. So, and what that particular that deal was is, as you build your business, people start contacting you, knowing that, for example, they know that I have the best buyers list in the area, period. And so one person brought me a short sale deal. Said, can you sell this for me? I made 1 call to my buyers list. I don't have to send an email blast out. I know exactly who wants to buy this type of property. I made 1 call, told him the address, he drove by the property, came over, signed the contract, I made my money. He's still going to close and such, but I made my money up front. $3,000 took me 10 minutes to do. All day long. Those are deals that can make you a millionaire, bottom line. Okay, so with that being said, that should give you an idea and an example of how powerful these deals can be when you know where to find them. Bottom line is, these deals, They sound like once-in-a-lifetime deals, but the truth of the matter is we do them by design. We've created a system that by design turns this into a situation where these deals come by every single week. So, that being said, public records are the best source for the best deals around. You literally can find, the MLS is not the resource for the best deals. Yes, REOs are there. There have been more REOs. There have been more short sales available than ever. That's true. But there's a whole lot of competition for that. And so in the end, that ruins a lot of the profit that you could be making because you have to compete with the other investors in the area. But with public records, you're going to be able to find the best source for the best deals that nobody else knows about. On top of that, it's also the best source for the best buyers list. I'd rather have 100 buyers that actually close deals than 1,000 people on my buyers list when I email and it's a bunch of tire kickers. Sure, you can put your ad on Craigslist. Sure, you can put your ad on Zillow and on Backpage and on LoopNet and different things like that. Of course you can do that, and I don't discourage anyone from doing that. I add that as just one more aspect. But the truth of the matter is the best place you can find the best buyer for your property is your buyer's list. And it's through public records. And what makes them so powerful is the only reason they'll show up in public records is if they actually pulled the trigger. These are people that actually close the property or else it won't go in there. Public records don't lie. The only way they're going to be there is if they actually closed on the property. So the buyer's list is awesome. And on top of that, I'm going to even show you how you can steal your competition's resources through public records. And so you can get their buyer's list as well. And we'll talk about that later. But this is just one way. Who said that you had to play fair when it came to real estate? Yeah, it's love and war, and now it's real estate too. Okay, so the best deals, the best buyer's list, and of course all the money that you'll never need to put it all together. Anytime a mortgage changes hands, anytime a private lender lends money and puts a mortgage on a property, guess what? It's a matter of public record, and you can gather that information, and you can bring him into your stable as well. So every one of these resources is there for you to make money. So let's go ahead and move from there. What exactly are public records? Now, understand this first module, we're not going to go into a whole lot of detail today because I want to go over the overview. I want you to get a hold of what it is that we're going to be talking about. But we will, over the next 6 weeks and over the next time, over the times together, over the modules that we're doing, we're going to go into specific detail, step-by-step process. And that's the beautiful thing about public records. You will have a step-by-step process that's almost like a mathematical equation. A plus B equals C. If you do this and you do this, you will get sellers. You will get buyers. You will get money. That's the beautiful thing. This is not theory. This will get you everything you need, literally a business in a box that will make you succeed. Okay, you will make money. If you put into action the steps, the concrete steps that we're going to give you over the next few modules, you will make money. That is bottom line in regards to that. Okay, so what are public records? Here's the simple answer for it. Anytime any significant event happens in a person's life, it is recorded for government knowledge. Okay? Now, that's a real broad spectrum, and you may not have even thought of that before, but let me go ahead and point it out to you. These events can include your birth, your death, your marriage, your divorce, bankruptcy, purchase or sale of a home or property, probate of a will, borrowing money, satisfying a loan, starting a business, many, many more options. Literally, any major event in your life, any significant event in your life is recorded by the government for their knowledge. And why do they do this? Very simply, for them to make money off of you. Why does anyone do anything in regards to business and government? It's to make money, okay? You know, in regards to the properties, they have a database of every single property in the counties or in that state, because that's how they charge property taxes. When you start a business, you have to record with them. Why? So they can charge you the business taxes. They can charge you for the licenses and such. Marriage, same thing. So that they can charge you for those. So they can go for their census. That's why birth and death reports. Did you know that your government puts a value on your life? Absolutely they do. And that is how they base what their per capita value as a nation is, based on how many people are in it, how many people are alive, how many people are contributing, how many people are part of that nation. That is how they determine the value of that nation. By the way, that's also the way that they determine the value of Facebook. If you recall, they evaluated Facebook at some ungodly number I don't even remember exactly how much it was, but it was not based on earnings. It was based on the fact that they were evaluating Facebook as a country based on how many people there are under its umbrella. Same thing applies to the government. And so every one of these things is there in the end to make money off of. But through the Freedom of Information Act of 1966, you're able to gather all of this information for yourself. This information is just as much yours as it is theirs. And with very little effort, you can actually get all the same information. And a lot of this is online. We will be going over specific ways that you can just right from your home office, you can get all the information right there available at your fingertips to make money off of as well. Hey, if you want to be like the big boys, you do like the big boys. And who's bigger than the government? So this is a very, very powerful thing for you to understand. So how do you use public records? That's the next question that everyone needs to know. Well, public records are very simply, here's the problem. There's so many records in so many categories. Looking for a single item might be like looking for a needle in a stack of needles. That's the way I like to put it. It's not even a needle in a haystack, because once you find that needle, it stands out. But there are thousands, if not, well, no, there are millions and millions of documents filed that are identical to the type you're looking for. For example, mortgages. Well, doggone, how many mortgages are filed in just your county every single month? I guarantee you there are thousands and thousands. And if you went through every single one of them, you'd go crazy, because it would just be too difficult to do. If you were just looking up documents in order to find, say, private lenders, you would have to go through every single document, and that'd be ridiculous. Let's just be honest. That would be ridiculous. You need to either have a program to do that, if you want to go that deep, or if you want to have a virtual assistant or somebody to do it, but you definitely couldn't and wouldn't want to do that yourself. So the answer, very simple, is to find a common denominator. Now that's the secret to using public records. You determine what you're looking for, then you narrow down the avenues, and once you narrow down the avenues, then you're going to look for the specific thing you're looking for, and you find a common denominator between what you're looking for and all the mass parts. Like, for example, if you were looking for distressed owners of property in your county, distressed owners over the last 3 months, well, if you looked up John Doe, Jim Smith in your clerk of courts, okay, you may find one, but going through every name would be ridiculous. You would go through thousands and thousands of names. That'd be using a lot of effort for very little result. So what do? You find a common denominator. Okay, one common denominator for all those distressed properties and distressed owners was the bank. Okay, so we type in and we search bank, or let's say we search a specific bank. Let's say Bank of America. We search Bank of America in the clerk of courts, and we look for a specific type of document, a Lis Pendens. A Lis Pendens is the starting document. It's the complaint aspect. It's how they start their foreclosure process. Beautiful. Everyone on the opposite side of that Lis Pendens from Bank of America or just plain bank is a distressed property owner. By finding that common denominator, which was the bank, or you could have just done a search if your clerk allowed it, you could have just done a search for Lis Pendens for those 3 months. That's a document type. That's still a common denominator. You found a common denominator. You found all the distressed homeowners within those 3 month period. You just built your list. Excellent. That's one way of doing things. So the secret is to find a common denominator. Now that could be for money, that can be for buyers, that can be for deals, that can be for distressed properties. There's so many ways to do that, but the secret is finding a common denominator. Okay, so let's talk deals a little bit real quick before we close up shop here. There are, as I mentioned, so many ways to get deals through public records. So over the next little bit, we are going to go over some of them. We're going to talk about the basic ways you can use public records, and some ways will get you the best deals with absolutely no competition. And I'm going to give you a couple of quick tidbits. Again, since we're not going to be able to go over it all in this module, so starting next week, we're going to dive into it really deep, and you're going to see actually where we do show the deals and show you exactly how we find them. In fact, we may find some deals while we're doing modules. In fact, I would almost guarantee we'll find some deals while we're doing these modules. But we'll talk about some basic ways that you can use public records, from Lis Pendens, like I just talked about, and short sale type distressed homeowners. Probate is another public records based process. And yes, I'll teach you about probate. In fact, let me ask you to do this. As we're talking, I want you to go ahead and raise your hand if these are some aspects that, or send in a little note in the question box saying, yes, I'd like to know more about probate. This can be, as I said, since it's public records based, and it's everything that I've learned and done over the last 15 years, I'm going to share with you as much as you want to know. I don't want to keep any secrets from you. So if you want to learn more about probate, we'll include that into it. If you want to learn about pre-foreclosures, we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about how you can get deals with absolutely no competition. We're going to talk about I'm going to show you a treasure trove of deals and short sales that can be picked up literally for 10 cents on the dollar or less, and can be done. You don't have to wait 3, 4, 6 months like you usually do with wholesales, with regular short sales. You'll be able to do them in under 30 days, so you can go through a regular deal process time frame. So I'm going to show you that specific area. I'm going to show you, now this is one of the coolest things, because I take systems that are already there and then I incorporate my public record spin on it, and I'm able to take it to the next level. I'm sure you have heard of REO Rockstar, and I'm not calling out anything, but you've heard of programs where they show you how to take it full advantage of the REO market. And one of the secret ways to do that is to go and make friends with realtors that are doing the REO business, and getting and positioning yourself into a place where they send you deals before they list them on the MLS. In other words, pocket listings. I'm sure you've heard of those, but pocket listings are an awesome way to get deals. The problem is, and here's the thing, I'm going to show you 2 problems with pocket listings and with regards to just making friends with realtors and hoping they send you deals. Number one, that is a very passive approach. And we all know that one realtor is not going to get all the REOs. And so while you made friends with one realtor, you lost 10 deals that went to 10 other realtors. And of course, you'll make as many friends as you can, but the problem is, how can you get all the deals and the best deals? Well, that's problem number one. Problem number two is, if the BPO has already been done, then the problem with that is that you're not going to get a huge discount from what the price is or the list price is, because they already know what they want to go with. They already know, and there was a BPO done that determined this is what the value is, this is what the list price is going to be. And so they're not, in the first 30 days, I laugh at many investors that try to offer 50 cents on the dollar right at the beginning. You're not going to get the deal. Why is that? Because they already got the BPO. They know what it should be listed for, and so in the first 30 to 60 days, you won't get more than 5 or 10% reduction off of that sale price. Well, you can do one of 2 things. You can wait. Well, you can close on the deal for that sale price, or you can wait and hope that nobody else scoops up the deal before they reduce the price and you're able to offer a much lower price. Well, here's one thing that you can do with public records, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. You're going to be able to find out who the realtor is going to be on that property. You're going to be able to find out who the realtor is before the BPO even knows he's going to be the agent. And then you can contact the agent and say, hey, I know that you're going to be getting a deal on 123 XYZ Street, and I know that you'd like to sell the property and be the listing agent and the selling agent. I want you to do that for me, and here's what I'm willing to pay. This is before the BPO is even done. Guess what that's going to do? That's going to influence the BPO, which is going to give you a leg up, as I said, an unfair advantage in this market. Hey, like I said, all's fair, love, war, and real estate. It's still got to be win-win, but I should clarify that, because that sounded a little too cutthroat even as I said it. But bottom line is, this is a great way to get that advantage in the marketplace. Okay, so over the next 6 weeks, here's what's going to happen. the first 3 weeks are going to be the deals. We're going to go ahead and go over all the deals. We're going to show you deals that are way better than REOs and short sales with virtually no competition whatsoever. That's one awesome thing because nobody knows what you're going to know. Number two, well, at this point, number three, but code enforcement. This is literally a secret treasure trove of deals. This is one of the coolest avenues. You may think to yourself, what? Code enforcement? Have you ever thought about this? I have literally made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in code enforcement because think about it this way. The owner has a problem. What are we as real estate investors? We're problem solvers. So they have a problem. Who better to go after? Number two, if ever there was a don't wanter, they're getting charged hundreds of dollars a day, anywhere from 50 to 100 to 200 and more dollars a day when it comes to those particular deals. And so in most cases, they don't live in the property, or else they wouldn't have let it get to the position it's in. And dealing with the government, getting forms and problems and so on and so forth, guess what? They're going to be major don't wanters. So you've got yourself an eagerly listening audience. And then number three, these properties, the Code Enforcement Board does not really want to charge these hundreds and hundreds of dollars per day. They want the property fixed. So if you can bring their properties into compliance, you can get major discounts on these liens, and by doing that, you make a huge spread. So this is a phenomenal side. I guarantee you, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in this field. The first deal we talked about, which was $15,000, ended up selling for $72,000. This was a code enforcement deal. That $30,000 10-unit apartment building, that was a code enforcement deal. We reduced that lien from $300,000 to $1,000. Talk about a discount. This is the type of power that you have at your fingertips when you're able to do these code enforcement deals. So we'll be going over that. We're also going to talk about how to find the best multifamily deals to set you apart from other wholesalers. And if you want to keep them, keep them. But everybody's loving cash flow right now. And everybody else is doing houses. So why not do some multifamily and stand out? I guarantee you, you sell properties quicker, you sell them for more, you have less competition. What's not to love about that, right? So we'll be going over that over the next, over the first 3 weeks. Then after that, we're going to go over buyers. We're going to talk about how to build the absolute best buyers list, how to use the common denominator system to find the absolute best buyers straight from public records. These are the guys buying the deals right now in this market, and they're pulling the trigger. So we'll be going over the buyers. This will be the absolute best buyers list you ever had. And we're going to show you how to steal your competition's resources, including their buyers list. You know, it's funny. The wholesalers, they market it to thousands and thousands of people, but they sell it to the same 15, 20, 30 people over and over again. Guess what? That's going to be your information for the grabbing and for the taking. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, how to talk to those people, and how to build the relationships with them so they'll come to you just as easy. I guarantee. Now, I'm going to show you how you can guarantee that you sell everything that you have, no matter what kind of deal you have. If you've got a multifamily deal, guess what? I'm going to show you how to find the multifamily buyer. If you got a development deal, guess what? I'm going to show you how to find the development buyer. If you've got single family, if you got low income, if you got high-end homes, I'm going to show you, if you have bulk REO, guess what? If there's one deed or 200 deeds, it's still got to be recorded. And the buyer is listed on that property on the deed. I'm going to show you exactly how to find it. I'm going to show you how to find those bulk REO buyers. So whatever type of property that you have, whatever type of deal you have, no matter what kind it is, I've got a buyer for you. I'm going to show you how to find that right, perfect buyer, not by guesswork, but by public records. It's an awesome, awesome tool. And then, of course, we'll be going over the money. We'll go over how and where to find the money to do all the deals. If you want to wholesale the deal, we'll show you where to find the transactional funds using public records. If you want to keep the deal, we'll show you where to find all the private funds, even the syndicators. You know what? I can show you exactly where to find syndicators so you can do the big deals. Because, of course, one private lender, chances are he can't do a multi-million-dollar project. But 25 investors or 27 or so, they can definitely put it together. I'll show you exactly how to do that. So you'll have all the money to do every deal you want to put together. Or, you know what, you can do it as a private money wholesaler, and you can fund other people's deals. And we're going to go ahead and put it all together. So that's what we have over the next few months, or sorry, over the next few modules, and over that time frame, you will be able to get all of the questions you answer or you need answered. If you have any additional questions, first of all, I want you to go ahead and ask them right here on our question log box, because I'm here live and I am able to look at them, and I will do my best to answer every single one when as we can do it. But also, if you have any additional questions from this module or during the weeks from the other modules, I want you to bring them to me, because this is going to help me make this the best course that it can be. I see we do have a question right now. In Philadelphia, the county charges $2 per view of documents related to probate. My question is, if it is a public record, why are they charging these crazy fees? And how can I get around that? Okay, great question, and absolutely. Now, there's a couple of things. Number one, they have the right to charge for convenience. They don't have the right to charge for public records, but because you could go into their office, you could go into their systems, and you could get all that information right there, and it would be completely free. And I like free, of course, and there are a few ways, and we'll go over that in just a minute, but on ways you can get around it. But that being said, there are also, they're not actually charging for the public records. They're charging for the convenience. They're charging for what they call their bandwidth or whatnot, or if they're printing it out for you, they're charging for their hard costs. That's what they're supposedly charging for, and that's how they get around the Freedom of Information Act to make a profit. That being said, there are ways to get around that. Number one, if they offer online the docket without the page view, 90% of what you're looking for is right there on the docket. You don't actually have to look at the document itself to get all the information. For example, and I don't know if I can pull it up right now, but in most public records, you can actually see the grantor, the grantee, and what type of document it is. And in most cases, all that information is what you need, okay, because you can take it to the next level. And like I said, when we go into detail on this, I will by all means go into exactly how you're going to just take those few pieces of information that they show, which is the docket and plug it into different aspects. Like, for example, let's say in the probate situation, you know who the person who passed away was. You know who the personal representative is because you're able to see the docket. You can't see the document, but you can see the docket. Okay, so now you can take the name of the deceased and plug it into the property appraiser. And you can see whether that person has any property. Of course, you can also see who the attorney is. And from that, you can contact the attorney and find out if they have any property or if they have other cases. That's one way that you build your business in the probate side of things. When you find out the attorney who did that case, chances are they have a dozen other cases, and they have no idea how to get rid of property. Attorneys have no idea. They're not realtors, and frankly, many realtors don't know how to get rid of property, except for the good ones. But the point is that they have deals. And so once you've found out who that attorney is, you contact them, you find out, because from the docket, you know who the new ones, you know the new cases, but you also want to ask them about old cases. There are approximately 4 places in a probate that you'll get the best deals. Number 1 is at the beginning. Okay, now you don't go to an attorney for the first part, you go to the personal representative and the heirs. The personal representative and the heirs, you want to go to them first because they want the money quick. Now the attorneys, they want the hours. So the personal representative is the first person that you're going to contact, especially 30 days after their first after the probate's been started. Why is 30 days so important? Because the personal representative is responsible for all the bills. And after those first 30 days, he's starting to get, or she is starting to get the bills. When they really, all they wanted was the money, and now reality is kicking in, that's a great time to talk to them. Once that's gone on, you also can continue to talk to the other heirs. They don't want to wait for their money, so you contact them. And that's going to be another option. The other time is towards after 6 months. Between 6 months to a year, the attorney is tired of that case. And so he feels he's earned as many hours as he really can legitimately earn on it, and now he's ready to get rid of it and get paid, because he's not really getting paid his whole fee until some of this property is sold. And so this is where it really comes in handy for him. So these are all avenues on making a probate work, but getting the docket is sufficient to being able to do that. So that's one option of getting around it. The other thing is there are title companies and abstractors that go to the office every single day. Now you paying $2 a fee, a view is ridiculous, because going through all those views would cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But if you pay an abstractor one time on, say, a daily or weekly basis, that's one way of doing it. They're there in the office, and they're not having to pay for those views, so that's not an additional cost you have to have. You'll save a lot of money doing that, doing it that way. There are also a couple of other avenues that you can look into, but in the end, you can even go into the office yourself, like I said. In the end, there are multiple ways of getting around that particular thing about getting charged. Okay, somebody else had a question. What if you live in a county that doesn't have the records online? Well, If you don't have the records online, again, they are there. And you can hire an abstractor, you can hire a college kid. There's numerous ways, a virtual assistant. In this market, you could go on to Craigslist and you could put an ad for somebody to be your researcher for you and pay them per, you could pay them per hour, you could pay them per week on certain amount of files that they get you. There's multiple ways on that. You can actually contact the office where the public records are, say the clerk of courts or the appraiser's office, and it's their job to give you information. So many times if a property, let's say it's a specific property I'm looking for information on, or a specific borrower or a specific person, I will contact the clerk of court's office or the assessor's office or the tax collector or whichever, or code enforcement, or whichever avenue I'm looking for. And I will ask them to look up the file for me. And they do it because it's actually part of their job description. So now I don't recommend that you do that with 50 or 100 documents at one time. But if you have, 3 or 4, even up to 5 documents that you're wanting to have looked up, by all means, ask them to look it up for you. And you'll be surprised at how accommodating they'll be. But then on top of that, you can go into the office, and of course you can go ahead and do it right there. Let's see if there's anybody else. James, did you have a question that you wanted to put into the box there for me? I see your hand is lifted up. Hopefully you're typing into the thing here. But are you getting something out of this? Does anyone have any questions concerning the private money side also? I don't want to limit this just to the public records. Well, actually it's not limiting because it's including private money, but it's also including everything else. Okay, James, you got a question there. What is the best way to start a deal? Now, when you say start a deal, are you asking where to find a deal right now? Just go ahead and type that in there real quick, just so I know exactly if that's what you mean or if you're looking for the buyer's list. If you're looking for a deal, I'm going to take it that that's what you're looking for, is where to find the best deals right this moment. I'll tell you what, like I said just a minute ago, code enforcement is a treasure trove of deals. I'm going to give you a quick one, and I'll go over the next modules. We'll be going over code enforcement deals anyways, but I'll give you a hint to get started where you can go ahead and get the information right now to start perusing through and seeing whether it's, whether you got a good deal there or not. But go ahead and contact your local code enforcement board. Contact the local code enforcement board for whatever your county is or city. And by the way, there's usually two different boards, one for county and one for city. So reach out to them and ask them for a list of open cases. Ask them for a list of open cases. What's going to happen is when you do that, and understand, they will love you when you start solving problems for them. They will share that list with you with no problem whatsoever. They'll email it to you. If you walk into their office, they'll say, hold on a second, and print it up for you. They are excited about the opportunity to work with someone that will solve their problem. Code enforcement, what code enforcement is it's a place where you can, every city, every county has a specific set of codes and ordinances that they want you to follow. They don't want you to leave houses unsecured. They don't want your lawns to get overgrown. They don't want to see a lot of broken windows or bare wood and so on and so forth. Now, what I'm talking about doesn't sound all that expensive, does it? When you think code enforcement, you probably think gutted, destroyed house. Truth of the matter is overgrown yard makes it a code enforcement violation. Derelict vehicle in the driveway makes it a code enforcement violation. If there was bare wood that needed to be painted in the soffits or fascia, that is a code enforcement violation. That can easily be fixed, but can still charge the homeowner anywhere from $20 to $50 a day for the basic stuff. If they left the door open, doggone it, if it was unsecured, now you got yourself 100 and change a day violation. So it doesn't have to be horrible violations in order to be a moneymaker. And in fact, the deal that you saw that we picked up for $15,000, it took us less than $3,000 to fix up the property. No, actually, I think it was less than $2,000 because we had to patch a portion of roof, which costed us about $1,100. We had a broken window, which was less than $50 for the paint. We had a back porch, which was a lean-to, very small porch that they either wanted fixed or removed. So we found it easier to remove it, and that cost us less than $200 or $300 at most. And there was a old shed that we ended up scrapping out. That was the extent of the violations for the entire property that had racked up over $70,000 in code enforcement liens. And we got it reduced to under $4,000 as a result. Now, a short sale, because a short sale is any lien that's less than what is owed. That's exactly what it was. So we put it all together. So I would say contact your local code enforcement board and ask them for a list of all the properties that have open cases. They'll ask you how far back. Tell them as far back as you want to go. So that right there is going to be a phenomenal first start. And that way, when we go over our next module, I'll go into detail on what you can do with the list. That work for you, James? Excellent. Anybody else have a question? Going once. Going twice. Okay, here's a question. Do I need a business name to do deals in, or can I do deals in my own name? Well, as you can see from the records, I did deals in my own name, which frankly I think was a mistake because I don't, if you do a business, first let me answer the question. You don't have to. You can do business in your own name. You can do business in a business name. You can do business in a land trust name. You can do business however you want to. That being said, there are so many advantages to doing business in a corporate name, in tax benefits and in asset protection, in multiple avenues. It's just a benefit to do it in a corporate name or in a land trust, or maybe a combination of the two. I do land trusts with my particular corporation as the trustee. So that's definitely one way that you can do it, and I fully recommend it. So to answer your question, no, you don't have to do your deals in a land, in your personal name or in a corporation name or whatever else. But my recommendation is at least to start an LLC and do it that way, because the benefits will definitely outweigh the cost of putting it together. Hopefully that answers your question there, Rose. Anybody else? Did you get anything out of this, guys? I hope this is exciting to you, because like I said, now it may not start out as the most exciting thing, or it's not outside like it's a wholly exciting thing, but I guarantee you'll be excited cashing the checks. I sure am when I cash these $20,000, $30,000 checks, $50,000 and more. I guarantee you it is well worth it. The biggest check that I cashed from one deal was $265,000. So you can do the big deals, you can do decent sized deals, and there are bigger deals you can do than that. Of course there are. But I guarantee you, it's well worth it. Absolutely worth it. So hopefully you got a lot out of this. Let's see. Any other questions? Last time I'm going to ask here. Going once. Going twice. Sold to the lady with the pink poodle. All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you today. I'm so glad that you joined us on this event here, and I hope that you continue to take advantage of these exclusive recordings. They're here for you to take advantage of. You're getting access to them well before the public is going to get access to them, and they're going to be paying large dollars for this information. So you're going to get it for free as a bonus with what you got. So I certainly hope that you take advantage of them, of these modules, and I certainly hope that you get a whole lot out of it and take action, guys. That's the most important thing I can tell you. Take action on the things that I show you to do. And if you have questions, please send them in. I will go out of my way to make sure I address every single one of them. All right, well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. It was a pleasure, guys. Thanks again.